Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a very interesting video this time working on a forklift, Toyota forklift computer. Let me just make sure the intro is off. All right, so as you see, I have the computer right here on the bench, and this is actually the case for that computer. So you can see it's a Toyota 89661-UB as in Brown 020. It's a 12 volts computer. This was sent to me by, let me just read the data from here. It says, "Hi, my name is James McDaniel. I am reach out for you expertise in ECM repair. I have a 2018 Toyota Forklift, the ECM that is not working. It will not allow the forklift to start and run in its condition. I do not know anything else particularly with it. Would love to see you do a video on diagnosis and repairing this issue, if all possible. I sent you pictures already of the model and serial numbers of the truck inside the box of the ECM, and then I have his contact information in here. And he is from Tennessee." All right, so I've been doing as much as homework I can. There is nothing as far as information that I could find except for what he sent me. So let me move you over to the display. Well, actually, I have that. Probably I have changed the locations or the coordinations of that. So, but all right. So as you see right now, I actually have the camera also another circle, so you guys will always see my testings in there. So I have myself on the left side and the other circle in there, and you see that I have a basic screen. So I have the computer connected. I am also connected with the oscilloscope, as you see on the left corner, on one of the CAN bus. This module has two CAN buses. Since I don't have information, it's really hard for me to know what I'm missing or not. So I did, as I always do, try to do my homework. So as you see, I have the computer talking, so I decipher and I reverse engineer as much as I could the computer to see if it works. And as you see, I got a healthy CAN bus. So I'm going to do some tests with you. So what I found about this computer, and I'm going to show you the way the connectors look, and I can show you right now. Like, that is probably the best, so you can see. Right, so this is kind of like the connector, well, not kind of, that's exactly match of the connectors, which are in here, E3, E4, E5, and E6. Those are the pinouts exactly as you see there. I removed the rest because this is from a EZ1 or EFC1 computer from Toyota, and the connectors on the computer match perfectly, but not the pinouts. So I went in using my multimeter. I check, let me actually put you into the S73 because this is probably better for you guys to see from there. Looking at the sound, and there's nothing wrong. All right, so I'm just going to point. I'm going to be a little bit on the way, but I mean, we need to live with that, right? So always when you have a diode like this on a computer, that's the main diode, but very different on this setup. And it's probably because I'm not sure, since again I don't have the actual wire diagram, if the entire vehicle is 12 volts or it has a 24 volts or something different. Because the reason I'm saying that is because not only has this diode, it has two small diodes that separate the entire computer from the powers coming in. I have powers marked as E6 9, E4 7, E6 1 and 2. Again, look at the looking at the connector that we have here. Again, E6, just follow my red arrow. Again, 1 and 2 in connector E6 are power, and 9, which is right under it, those are completely separate powers. And then E4 7, which is right here. So those are the powers that I could find, and I think I'm correct because I saw a healthy CAN bus, and I'm going to show you my readings in the actual computer in a second. So I also went and looked for grounds because there's multiple grounds, but they're all interconnected. So I have grounds in connector E4, pin 3, 10, 24, 30, and 34. And then on pins connector E3, pin 29, they were all interconnected. So I used just the one for my testing. CAN bus, I found 2 CAN buses. CAN 1, again, this is all mine. Don't ask me fiber reference, and I actually did find fiber reference in the connector, but I don't know which ones are sensor grounds or no, but for my testings, I don't need it. And I'm going to look into the complete board to see if it's any burns or something like that, but I do have a talking computer. So again, CAN 1 in connector E6, again, the last connector, pins 29 and 28, and then connectors pin 23, connector E6 on pins 23 and 22, the CAN bus 2. Fiber reference I found in connector E5 and pin 17, right here where the arrow is. And then on the same connector E5 and pins 33, so right here, and pins 25, which is right above it. All right, so, and then another fiber reference on connector E4, pin 20. Those are the only fiber references that I was able to see as I was powering up the computer. And before I power up, the way that I found this up, and let me take you over to here. So how I found a fiber reference. Okay, well, let me just point. So these are 2 CAN transceivers, completely separate. So this one goes to pin 28 and 29, and this one goes to pin 28 and 29, and this one goes to pin 28. So I keep saying the same, 22 and 23, and we have protection and 2 60 ohm resistors in here, so it has 120 ohms, so it's enough for communication. But knowing the circuitry, and I can also show you that of a transceiver, which I found online, the exact transceiver that is on this computer, and this is the transceiver that is on this specific board, is TLE6251DS. It's a high-speed CAN transceiver, automotive, and we will see this where it says this right here. So high-speed CAN transceiver, let me see if it says, well, I know it's 100% automotive, so digital outputs, but for what I really need just to show you is the pinouts. So we have CAN high and CAN low in pins 6 and 7. We have BCC on pin 3, and then ground on pin 2. So BCC on these ones are always fiber reference. So I know that this is a fiber reference, and if I touch in here, looking at well, we got too many different things. So let me just go back to the display so I can close this. And now, yeah, you were not looking probably. I always put the things on my screen and I forgot to show you that. So that's again the CAN transceiver TLE6251DS. And again, pin 6 and 7, CAN bus, low and high. TXD and RXD are coming from the microprocessor, right? So the transceiver will take those voltages and it will make 0 to 2 volts or whatever. In this case, this is actually, since it's an equipment, it's not a 500 kilowatt CAN bus. It's actually a 256, which is normal in equipment. But yeah, so pin 2 is ground and pin 5 is pin 3 is the fiber reference. So I'm going to touch in this. Somebody's in my website, and I get so many warnings about somebody, like, this is just telling me somebody's there. Let me just make sure I'm not too much in the way, but I'm going to be touching. This is the same multimeter that you guys are seeing on the screen. So if I touch in here, we should see 5 volts. And we see 5 volt reference, so that's how I know that I got a 5 volt reference in there. So that is a 5 volts, it's good. So we're going to do the same thing on the other CAN transceiver. Come on, don't let me down. I'm gonna look into that 1 second, guys. And we do have the other fiber reference. It's just a little hard to push. These computers got a very heavy coating to protect the computer itself, and that is just what it is. All right, so looking at the rest of the stuff, so as you see, we got a lot of capacitors in here. So we should have battery voltage in here. And we do. I'm going to hold the board down so it doesn't flip when I'm doing this, just to be careful. The diode should have the main body, or the big part of the portion of it, should be a ground, and we have 35 millivolts, so that is a healthy ground. And then we should be having battery voltage in here. We do. This is in the same circuit part, so this should be battery voltage as well. If I can get to poke in there. And we do. This one, if I remember, this was battery voltage as well. Well, that is a ground, so it should be no battery voltage in there. So that battery voltage, and I mark with a black line where do we have battery voltage. So this one should be also battery voltage, and we can see that too. I think this is 1.5 volts, and this is a 2.5 volts. This other one right next to it. 2.5 volts. So this is a circuit 1.6, 2.6 that microprocessor needs in order to communicate. The only one that I cannot see to find is a 3.3, which is very common. But if the microprocessor will not be token, we will not have a CAN bus, because the CAN bus is, in this time, I have nothing connected, right? So this CAN bus is not coming from an external module. This is the same computer sending a message, which I'm going to show you also in a second, of like, hey, hello, I'm here, is somebody there, and nobody's answering because obviously I got nothing else connected. But voltage wise, everything seems to be good. I don't see a problem. The only thing that I do see is only one of the CAN buses is working. So I can try to follow into the microprocessor to see if it's any damages on that CAN bus, because again, without wire diagram, it is hard for me to say, okay, well, the CAN bus that is missing is the one, the forklift is for to communicate with a diagnostics or in between any other module, because again, I don't know the entire setup. I don't know if it's a natural gas, if it's a diesel one, or what it is, because I look into the model of this forklift, and it's let me just go up 1 second. So let me just I put this so we don't have that much to see as far as information from the customer. But I can copy this and then go in line. So actually I already had it open, right? So that's why it's like this. So well, since I opened that up in here, so before I go any further, if you have any computers, instrument cluster, and I'm actually open up now into heavy duty equipment as well. So if you have any forklifts, if you have any Caterpillars, John Deere, anything, any module, heavy duty or equipment that you need to repair, now you can send it to my Salazar Diagnostics. I want to show you something. 1 second. I bought a new piece of equipment, so let me get into this. So this is the new gel test by Kojali. This is a company that makes this diagnostic, and it's not just a diagnostic. This also gives me wire diagrams and information, maintenance, and it's a very complete setup. It's like a J pass-through device, so I can open the box in here, which I actually have removed most of the components, because the BCI already have it out ready to go, because I'm using it for marining. I'm in the process of, like, you know, just using it. Just open this so you can see the box. Again, there is no cables or nothing in here because this is for heavy duty, and I'm not using it as is. I don't want to, sorry about that, guys, so carry too many. But as you see, I have connectors in here ready to go. This is I think it's a 9-pin, and I got the 246, yeah, another 6-pin in here. And it's all good to go. You can even use this one on diesel trucks, light duty diesel trucks. Again, this is what I'm using here. And this is the BCI from the equipment. The reason I don't have many connectors is because I'm not connecting to the truck. So all I need is this. This is perfect for me, where I can actually change the pins and just go into CAN bus, CAN high, K line, whatever the communication is. I can make it work with this. And this is actually very nice because it's also Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So I don't really need to have it connected to a cable directly to my computer in order to talk. And I would show that software. Sorry, guys. I would show the software in another occasion. I have a little surgery, and I have a strap in here because of my surgery on my belly button. I had a hernia removed, and it's itchy sometimes. All right, so, but yeah, so I can even show you the YAL test software in here, which let me see where it's right here. I mean, since we're already talking about this, let me just show you that also too. So that should be opening soon. All right, you see that's the YAL test. It's a heavy software. It's like over 20 gigs of information and software, so it is very, very good. So yeah, that's very nice, and I'm very happy to try to give a better service for all my customers. As you see with this, I have marine and I have the material handling already selected. I can get all these three menus, which is the software for commercial, agricultural, or off-highway at any time I want. So I didn't want to include all of them because obviously reasons I'm just promoting right now this service, but I can add it at any time. So all I need to do is, click in here, and as you see, it's in very nice and very very good software. If I click in here, as long as I don't click on connect, I can select one of the series, and it tells me, technical releases and all stuff like that. But I can go into diagrams. Again, since I'm not connected, I cannot do diagnosis, but you can see this is exactly what I'm looking for to get for everything. Right now I have all my wire diagrams. I can see connections. I mean, this is very nice because it shows me component locations and a lot of stuff, which is good, so you can see as I am approaching the computer, it gives even a look on how the computer is, connector X1 and connector X2. Computer, well, this is because I'm not connected, obviously, right? So we can go back. Let me go back actually to the main screen, and I'm going to show you that this Toyota is actually listed here, but they are not covered in this series. So this is what do we said it was? Let me just look into that 1 second. Oh, I got it right there. FAG. So FAG right here. So FAG series, and it's FAG CU. What is it? CU20, 25, CU25. So let me just click in here. So it's in the 20 series. If I click in here, the only thing they're giving me is the body computer. And even if I try to enter there, which right now I can show you, there is not even diagrams. So for this specific one, I have no help even with this new diagnostic equipment that I got. So it's very difficult when you have no diagrams. So let me just close that up. So like I said, it's very hard when you have no wire diagrams to go by. And now, since we're here, like, what are we missing, right? So are we missing I'm trying to see why the circles are not working in here, or maybe I have removed them. I'm sorry, guys. Well, not sure why did that happen like that. Yeah, you guys are looking at something in there, so display captures on here is one. Should move that one on the top of this. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like I moved one of the circles and you were not looking at me when I'm in this capture. So that's all I was trying to fix. All right, so that is now better. All right, so it is a little hard to see if that CAN bus is the one is giving the problem. Let me just see one thing, what it says in here. Because it says, I have a Toyota Forklift, the ECM that is not working. It will not allow the forklift to start and run in its condition. So without no information from the customer, I'm gonna call them and then find out what kind of tests did they run. Do they have powers and grounds and 5-volt reference, or they're missing everything? Because right now I have a computer that I can even see a healthy CAN bus, and you and with me we're able to see everything that I just showed you. I'm going to now even come back. I'm going to turn the computer off so you can see that that immediately turned off and no CAN bus. So I'm going to turn it back on, and we got an immediate response on CAN bus. So I'm going to make this go into full screen since we don't need the multimeter no more. Make sure everything is recording. Yes. All right. So we can move this button. Am I zoom in? Yes. All right. So this is the entire capture on the screen. As you see right there at that zoom level, we cannot see anything. I can stop it. So I have 1 millisecond per division. So we got a total of 10 milliseconds per screen. Right now we got 64 screens recorded. What I usually do with Pico is just, zoom. I can do a zoom like this, or if you have a mouse, you just need to scroll with the wheel of the mouse and you can then select as close as you want to see. What I want to see, or what I want to show you, is, well, first where I am in the screen right now. So that little window that now pop up in the middle of the screen is exactly where I zoom in. I want you to see that all the messages, even at the bottom. So we got the ID of the message is 18FFB100, very close to that message that we have on the FICOMs. And now you see this is J18 1839, I think it's 1939. I always confuse that, but it's almost the same message, right? So that is for me a hint already that this is working good. The signal on CAN high and CAN low is clean. I did a match channel. If you want to learn how to do that, I can actually do it. It's pretty easy, pretty quick to do. I can erase everything that I have in here. And I can even, let me take this out too, deselect it. So all I have in here is one channel connected to the CAN high on my oscilloscope, and the other channel connected to the other line on here, right? So look at in connector E6. As I show you, as I told you, pins 22 and 23. These are the ones that I have communications on 22 and 23. And I'm going to move it pretty shortly so you can see the signal on the other one without even, well, I would turn the computer off because I don't want to short anything out. But all right, so going back into what I want to choose, I want you to see. So when you have selected this, so we know that we have a CAN high or CAN low. You want to have channel A as a CAN high and channel B as a CAN low. How you know which one is which? All right, so you can put cursors and we can see the blue channel is going from 2.5 to 3.2, like almost 2.6 to 3.9. Then let's see what the other one is doing, right? So we have 2.6 to 1.2 or a little less, yeah, like 1.2, right? Because again, I'm using the mouse on my leg because I don't want to be reaching out there. But yeah, that's the amplitude of that waveform. So we know that blue is high and red is low because it's going from 2.5 lower, and the blue is going from 2.5 higher, right? All right, so that's how you would identify those. Then all you need to do is create a match channel. again, this is very unique with picoscope or capable oscilloscopes. You do A minus B, and that is now the purple channel. You can change the color. I always leave it like that. There is no filter applied or anything like that. So what you see is exactly what is happening. It has a little bit of a resonance in here, but that could be also noise from lights and everything in here. So after that, I do a serial decoding. This is very, again, built into Pico for free. You don't have to pay any extra. Rhodes and Schwartz, Tectonic, all those will sell you all the packages of decoding. Very expensive, very separate. All right, we're going to click on CAN, CAN, and we're going to select A minus B. I hope that you saw that. Let me actually cancel this so you guys can see that I'm going to do that again. So when you select the CAN, look at the baud rate. It's 500 kilobaud, a normal CAN bus. But when you select the A minus B, picoscope will immediately read what you have captured to see what is the speed of the CAN bus that you're selecting. And then look, it went down to 250 kilobaud. And that's what I said, this is machinery CAN bus, which is very common to be that speed. I don't touch anything else. You can change the high services. The high services is where you want the threshold, 1.6 volts, kind of like in the middle, and the high services is almost the middle, the minimum. And you can click in here a noise rejecting range, apply to the threshold, to range, blah blah blah. So you can read that all that. So click next. I always use hex and then table of contents and the code between time rulers. I leave it off because I can do it at any time I want, or I can do the entire screen. So after I do this, now it's already the code. And this is exactly what we were seeing before. And then again, I can do a zoom in here. And we can see the same data that we were seeing here. With Pico, I can move this window back and forth, the entire screen, capture, and see if I see any errors or so, right? And I don't see that. So now it's a stop. We're going to run it, and we can see that the messages are always the same. I always explain this because it's very important that you will have errors on the first or last message on the screen. Depends on where the picoscope start the recording. So if I go into, let me just see, valid or invalid, you see how we got invalid messages in here. If I click in here, it's going to take me to where that error is. And now we can see, if we see the window in the middle, that error is at the end. So that message that we're seeing right here when I'm moving the hand, it just got caught because of the window size. Nothing wrong with the computer. It was just an error of, not an error, a cut message. And that's why it's marked as an invalid, the CRC, because there's no CRC there, right? But we can see the ID was able to decode it. And that is just because picoscope is designed in Windows. It's not a raw oscilloscope. It's a window-based oscilloscope. So that's it. So I can always just going again into CR valid and then just put the valid ones, but we can see the same message all the time. All right, so what I want to do, let me just pause the video one second, and I'm going to move the cables over to the other bus. Or if you want me, actually, you know what? Let me just do it on the screen with you guys. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to move those cables. Make sure I'm not shorting nothing out. And that's what I use, those alligator clips in there. They're very, very easy to protect what I'm doing. So, all right, so we're back in business, right? So let's run it. Right now the computer is off. We got nothing on the screen. And let's power this up. And in this one, I have no signal. So pins 28 and 29, even though that is populated on the board, I have no activity. But in pins 22 and 23, I do have activity. So this is telling me that there's nothing wrong with the computer. I don't see absolutely nothing wrong, at least not yet. but I have fiber reference, I got all the voltage rails, and I got communication. So you see where I'm going. So I think that they might have a problem in the wiring and not on the computer. So I hope that you guys like this content, because this is a first time ever me working on this module, and I don't need to have, as you see, any wire diagrams. I get all my information. A lot of people are like, Mike, where you get that information? The Lord. All I can say is it gives me intelligence, and I want to try. I want to try to decode these kind of computers, reverse engineer, take the time to learn online, visit many videos of many people all over the world. Usually I do watch TV and I watch cartoons and movies, but I use most of my time to learn. That's one thing that I really love to do, is learning. I use that for multiple different things in my life, and I find it very amusing. I love to learn all the time and help others with situations like this, because I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with this computer. Again, we got fiber reference coming out of the computer, we got the voltage rails, and we got communications. These computers should talk. I lost a little bit without information from the customer. If I will have at least a code, or like a missing communication with the module, I got no fiber reference to the sensors, because a no start, as James is saying in here, it says the ECM that is not working, it will not allow the forklift to start and run in its condition. I do not know anything else particular with it. I would love to see you do a video on diagnosis and repairing this issue if it's possible at all. So again, with no data from the customer, all I can collect is my own data and tell them that as far as I see, this computer is good so far. If I find something else, I don't want to hold you for too long, because I do want to perform more testings in here. I'm going to get into the microscope and see if I see anything burned, corroded, that it might be a signal that is necessary for like a few pump relay. Again, without complete information of like the way these forklift is built, and that's what I wanted to go, and I forgot. It was to look into that forklift, right? So did I best space that? Okay, so let's try to see if we see, yeah, that's actually one of the forklifts, so we can see at least. It will be nice to see, it's a very expensive unit, right? Oof, with 1,400 hours, not so much. Let me see if I can find, let me see, engine power, 52 horsepower. It's a LPG gasoline, so it's a gasoline engine, or LPG, so it could use propane or gasoline. That is at least good to know. But nothing else, right? So it will be important to know, and I'm going again to contact the customer to find out how is he running it, if it's in gasoline or it's an LPG gas, and then see what kind of controls he also has, because this will be for the engine side. If it's an LPG, it should have its own controller for the gas valves and pressures and all that stuff separately. But it definitely has to be a part of the engine that has to be on for that other part to work, and I don't see anything wrong with that. All right, guys, I don't want to take much longer of your time. I hope this is as interesting as I feel myself it is, and also how you can check and find the powers and the grounds. I hope that you got that from what I did in here, because all I do is again look for those diodes, look for those capacitors, and then obviously grounds is going to be, I always go into that main diode and touch into all the capacitors to see if the grounds are shared. Sometimes it's separate grounds, especially when you have a transmission module built into the same computer. It might have separate grounds. They separate that, so if it's a short in one side or a lost ground, it doesn't affect the other part of the computer. But in this one, since this is just an ECM, all grounds are the same as I show you. And powers, as I said, I go over to the main diode, and then those two other diodes that were there, and I found the pins with continuity, right? So, and I power it up, and I always use bench power supply. The reason I do is because I can limit the amount of amperage that is coming out. So I always, when I start, I put them in like a 300 milliamps maximum. If something is shorted, I would not damage the computer, because I will just click and turn the power supply off, and that will protect me and the computer from a damage. All right, again, more information for all of you. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.